Note: disconnect the unit's power plug before you start disassembling the unit. Remove the retaining screw from the spray duct. Use the appropriate Allen key included with the accessories for the unit. Lift the back end of the spray duct slightly. Release it from the blue retaining clip and slide it forward until it comes off. Take care not to damage the cables in the spray duct. Now unscrew the handpiece from the motor. The coupling should stay on the motor. If the coupling has come off the motor, slide it back onto the motor shaft with a flat side. In the next step, unscrew the retaining nut from the handpiece. Now you can take the clamping device out of the handpiece. If the clamping device does not slide out of the housing on its own, insert the test pin into the handpiece at a slight angle until it encounters the leading edge of the front shaft and push the shaft out. Pull the bearing off the front shaft. In the final disassembly step, the clamping pins can be removed from the rear shaft together with the clamping bed and clamping bushing. Make sure the clamping pins do not roll away. To avoid losing the clamping bushing, you can take it off the clamping bed and lay it aside. Remove all dirt. The supplied brush can be used for this purpose. If necessary, use isopropyl alcohol to remove tough dirt. Aside from the front bearing and rear shaft, all parts can be cleaned in an ultrasonic cleaner. After wet cleaning, the parts have to be rinsed under running water to remove cleaning agent residues. The parts have to be fully dry prior to assembly. If the nozzles of the spray duct are clogged, you can clean them with a nozzle cleaning needle. Now you can proceed with the assembly. Start by placing the clamping pins onto the clamping bed. Hold the clamping pins with 3 fingers to keep them from falling off. Then insert the clamping bed together with the clamping pins into the rear shaft. Next, put the clamping bushing back onto the clamping bed. If the clamping bushing does not engage on the clamping bed with the same force, rotate the clamping bushing until it fits correctly on the 3 prongs of the clamping bed. Now slide the front shaft onto the rear shaft. Then slide the bearing back onto the front shaft. Next, slide the assembled clamping device into the housing. Now screw the retaining nut back in. Finally, screw the handpiece back onto the motor. When attaching the spray duct, make sure the blue retaining clip is centered relative to the position of the retaining screw. Slide the spray duct onto the tip of the handpiece and then push it onto the blue retaining clip. The spray duct always has to be straight, it must not be bent. Reinstall the spray duct retaining screw. The handpiece is ready for use. Our recommendation: use the Gerlach drip caps on all rotating instruments. They effectively prevent liquids and dirt from getting into the handpiece and considerably increase the service life of the handpiece. Correctly positioning the drip cap on the cutter is important. Use the corresponding cutter testing gauge for this purpose. Set the cutter testing gauge upright and insert a drip cap. Then slide the cutter into the gauge to the stop. Now the drip cap is exactly in the right position for use with your Gerlach foot care unit.